They thought I didn't notice, that the password change was some quiet accident, that the $390,000 I spent a decade saving just vanished into the air. But I watched the transfer happen in real time. The account I built from minimum wage shifts and sleepless nights drained in seconds. My mother's name on the approval, my father's signature on the form, and a note from my brother's email the next morning, "Thanks for investing in my future. Mom and Dad said you'd understand." Understand? No, I didn't understand, but I had planned for it. I wasn't born with trust issues. They were gifted to me by the same people who were supposed to protect me. When I was 12, I broke a piggy bank to buy Dad a birthday gift. My money vanished from the drawer the next morning. "Probably misplaced it," Mom said, eyes a little too still. By 17, I had my own bank account. She asked for the password, just in case something happened. At 19, I changed it. By 24, I was ghosting their calls. Not out of hate, out of survival. Still, I kept them close enough to keep watch. Fake smiles during holidays, carefully chosen words, never too cold, never too warm. And while they thought I worked a dead-end job, I was building something bigger, slowly, methodically. 10 years, 47-hour weeks, 2 side hustles, all of it funneled into one place, a high-interest savings account they could access, if I let them. And I did, deliberately, because sometimes bait needs to look easy to grab. I noticed the shift about 3 months before it happened. The calls came more frequently, friendly, curious. Dad asked for my routing number, just in case we want to surprise you. Mom sent screenshots of homes she thought I could invest in. My brother? He started posting about starting a business. I smiled, replied with one-word answers, watched them get comfortable. Then I moved $390,000 into the account they could touch, not a penny more. I named it House Down Payment, just loud enough for them to overhear during a visit. They took the bait 2 weeks later. The best part? I watched them do it. I had set up real-time transaction alerts routed to a dummy server I controlled. Every move, documented. Every click, logged. And when the full amount disappeared, I didn't panic. I poured a drink, and I waited. They didn't call, didn't gloat, didn't explain. They went quiet, as if their silence would erase the theft. But I had everything I needed. Screenshots, access logs, IP traces. I'd baited the trap. Now came the steal. First, I filed the fraud report. Not through the bank. That'd be too easy. I went through a private investigator, one I'd worked with before, discreet, methodical. Within 10 days, we had the entire picture. They funneled the money into 3 accounts, 2 in my father's name, 1 in my brother's LLC, registered 3 weeks before the theft. Sloppy. Next, I triggered the insurance. The account had been protected by a personal financial loss clause, one they didn't know existed. Because while they thought I was the family idiot, I'd taken the time to read every word of every policy I ever signed. The bank refunded every cent, quietly, while the PI moved forward with the legal firestorm. They got the court summons on a Thursday. I know because Mom called that night, voice trembling. "I didn't know what your father was doing," she said. "It was just meant to help your brother." "Help?" I repeated, like I hadn't paid for his car, his failed first semester, his second chance at a coding boot camp he never finished. I let her talk, let her lie, then I hung up. By Monday, I had pressed charges: wire fraud, embezzlement, breach of fiduciary trust, civil and criminal. They tried to settle, of course they did, offered to return some of the money, which they no longer had, because my brother had already spent $60K on crypto. My father cleared $100K on a down payment for a lake house I now own, thanks to the asset seizure. Court was quiet. They didn't fight, didn't look at me. My brother cried during sentencing, said I ruined his life. The judge disagreed. They got probation and a felony record. I got my money back and their silence. They don't call now, don't text, don't ask for forgiveness. But sometimes they send letters, begging, pleading, empty apologies soaked in entitlement. I keep them in a drawer, unread. See, it wasn't about the money, not really. It was about the message. I'm not your bank. I'm not your safety net. I'm not your fool. They taught me how to distrust. I taught them what happens when you gamble with someone who's been watching you play dirty their entire life. They wanted a future for my brother. I gave him one, just not the one they expected.